once the student is inside this inside this zone, how do you scaffold learners? Because how do you guide learners? And that's the idea of scaffolding, right? And the one thing that we often think about scaffolding is not the same as structuring or supporting students. So the example I often give is, suppose a child is learning how to walk. He wants to walk from point A to point B. The child gets up and falls. What do you do in that? So the child has fallen. The child is probably in the zone of proximal development. He or she can't walk, and the child demonstrates that he's not able to walk because he or she falls. So what do you do at the moment where he or she falls? Now, there's a range of options, right? You can completely ignore and say, hey, try again. Or you can say, well, I'm going to pick you up and transport you to B. Or you can say, well, hold my hand. I'm going to hold you with both my hands and take you to point B. Or maybe hold one hand. Or maybe hold just a pinky finger and provide support. Or maybe get close to the child and show him how to get up and try again. So as you can see, like, guidance is not just a simple thing to do. It has to be designed in certain principled ways once the student is inside the zone of proximal development, all the way from very, very minimal help to very strong support that helps the student do the task. Now, how do you decide which kind of help to give? Now, the basic principle here is, okay, you've determined what children cannot do without the support, obviously, and then you should provide only enough support so that students can progress on their own. So the idea here is minimal. Your job as a teacher when students are in the zone of proximal development is to get by with the least amount of cognitive support so that the bulk of the cognition is what the learner is doing and not you. And that's a somewhat counterintuitive principle for a lot of people, because as teachers, we want to help people, we want to support people. And sometimes by supporting or structuring too much or over-guiding, we actually do the cognitive effort or the cognitive work rather than the student doing the cognitive work. Now, so again, if you have a task, it's doing a good job at activating knowledge, and to determine whether you're pitching it at the right level, you have to ask, are students generally able to solve this task, perform it, or are they not? And ideally, your answer should be most people should not be able to perform this task. And once you see that most people are not able to perform this task, you've got to give them the minimum amount of effort and see, okay, let me try to say, get down, in the case of a child who's fallen, maybe I'll try to get next to the child and show him how to get up. Maybe he can imitate. So the imitation, observation as a support. But if that doesn't work, maybe I'll help the child get up and with the least amount of support. So giving them a pinky finger and see whether that works a little bit, and then take it off, right? So, and that's the idea, that you gradually up the support, go up the support spectrum each time, keeping it very minimal and increasing it only if you have information about what the child is unable